Yep, Dylan here with another MVP Friday, which is now on Wednesday today. And today, guys, we have something that I really enjoy, which is an interview with a couple of business owners with their online fitness business who are doing really well at sort of that still the early startup stages of a business, but also getting some massive momentum. So, Jay and Anil, welcome to the podcast, boys. How you going?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
No, awesome, guys. Maybe starting with you, Anil, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself, how you got into the industry, and then you guys can sort of maybe talk a bit about Alphalits and how you guys met, which is pretty cool as well.
Yeah, of course. So it goes back to, I'll start off when we met. So I actually met Jay at a day and night. It was kind of like a summer party, and we kind of just kicked off there, just had a chat. And before this, so I've got a degree in civil engineering and commerce, and I worked as a civil engineer for 6 months, basically last year to about March this year in construction.
Yep.
And Jay came up to me one day because I've been training for a while now, around 11 years, and he said, "Hey, I've got this business idea. Should we start training people and coaching people?" And obviously, because gym's like one of my massive passions, I've been doing it for so long. I feel like I know a lot about it. I was like, I've always wanted to start something like that myself.
Yep.
So it was basically a no-brainer. So I hopped on, and yeah, we kind of did the business together, and it's absolutely booming now, which is amazing.
It's wild.
And 6 months into my job, I realized that this wasn't for me. I much rather prefer doing Alphalits because that's truly where my passion lies, and it's get so much joy out of coaching and training people. So that's kind of how it all started, and now we're here 4 months in, and it's better than ever.
Yeah. So Jay, man, how did you come up with or the idea around Alphalits?
It's probably similar to Anil's experience. So I've been training for quite some time now as well. And then I've had coaching myself. So I think what I really valued was, I think as guys, we sort of think we know a lot, but sometimes we don't.
Yep.
So I was kind of carrying on with the sort of, training the exact same way with my gym and sort of, had that bit of a plateau. And then when I got sort of coaching done, I realized how much I didn't know, but I also valued kind of that sort of stuff, because then my progress sort of just really kind of improved. And so naturally it would just come up in conversations with my mates, family, friends, workmates, all that sort of stuff. And it was really interesting to see how much they valued that sort of information that I would sort of explain with them. So it kind of just came about naturally in that sense, where I would just talk about it naturally. A lot of people would come up and ask me questions and stuff and be like, "Oh, wow, like, you seem to be progressing really well." And I just, would love to talk about it. And it just became something I was really passionate in. So a friend of mine that I used to work with at my previous job, he was obviously asking me for advice, and he was just like, "Oh, like people would pay a lot of money for this advice, or for some of the stuff he's sharing," and it just clicked. So literally, like, not even 10 minutes later, after I was like just messaging my mate, I called up Anil and I was like, what do you reckon? Because he and I, we train at the exact same gym. We see each other like almost every day. So and we were already like really good mates before that. So I just thought it'd be fun as well, just to sort of do this together. And it's been unreal. Never thought we'd sort of get to where we are in such a short amount of time. So it's been awesome.
Pretty incredible, boys. And I love that. And just so people can check out what you guys are doing, what's your Instagram account you guys have got there at the moment?
It's called Alphalits _coaching. So that's our Instagram page. You'll see
it's pretty well.
See a lot of Anil on it.
Yeah, that's right.
The dude with the giant quads, he's massive. That's awesome. It's good, guys. So no, it's pretty cool, boys. And like, you guys have got less than 1,000 followers on Instagram. Before you sort of launched this business, what did you sort of think going into it? With not such a big following, what did you sort of feel around that? What were you sort of thinking?
Well, initially, obviously, I was a bit skeptical, because I did have experience kind of just training my mates, because I've trained with obviously a lot of training partners over the years and a lot of mates. So I wasn't too sure how it was going to go about. Initially, I thought it was going to be more one-on-one, face-to-face type coaching, and I was happy to do that maybe just on the weekends or whatnot. But then after speaking to Jay and talk about how he had his coaching run, I was pretty open and pretty excited to start, I don't know, online coaching because it's just much easier, and the fact that there's help there 24/7 through messaging as well, and everything's just run so seamlessly through the app. So it was just a great way to start, and it's so easily scalable too. Like you can handle a whole bunch of clients at once, which just makes it like it's really like flawless business. So
It's a great
I
business
rate
model
it
for sure. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, and on that point, yeah, like with starting like basically from scratch. So trying to build your presence with almost, barely any followers. Like, we were in the, starting with 50, then 100 and 150. Like we relied a lot on our friends to share our content. So we sort of did like a hype video. And then that video did really well. I think it got over like 10K views. So
11 or 12.
yeah, starting from that, we basically scaled it from that, just leveraging our own social networks and our mates, my boys, they love to help out. So I think what really helped was having that concept of relatability. So I posted my own transformation through the stories. Lots of like our first 10 clients or first 10 to 15 clients were probably about 80% of them were people we knew, like not necessarily like close friends or anything, but just people who just were in our social network. And then I think what a lot of the feedback was that they found our journey is very relatable. And so that kind of got us off the mark with sort of where we were at the start. And then it's sort of just, it's gone sort of from there.
it's sort of crazy because like that was only a few months ago. I sort of remember it was like, you had that 10 or so mates that you guys got onto training. From there, I guess like you obviously had a few parts where you're like, shit, we don't know how we're going to scale this. There was a few like issues around how we're going to grow outside of our friends. How did you sort of feel at that part? Like, oh shit, we've got some momentum here. What was sort of going on that next phase?
So I think the biggest thing was firstly the content. You guys really helped us out with the Venom posting schedule. For example, mixing it up, you can't be posting the same thing every day. People want to see a lot of variety. So talking videos was a massive one. Even for me, just to get comfortable, obviously talking in front of the camera now, it's pretty easy. Like I can smash it all out pretty quickly. It's just practice. The other big thing was the boosted ads, I think, and the transformations, boosting the transformations. Like Jay said previously, everyone likes seeing a transformation, like that kind of comeback story or how they've changed so fast in such a short period of time. So definitely the boosted, like Jay said as well, getting all of our mates to share it around gets way more eyes on it. And yeah, just being really consistent with the content and getting the VA was also a huge part in it. So reaching out, messaging people, that just takes a lot of time off our hands to do the more important stuff, like you've mentioned a couple of times ago. So that was basically the main key. So yeah, it was really good guidance that we need initially. So I think we came to you guys at the perfect time, right at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you say like the boosted post, was that sort of that boosted unicorn strategy?
Yeah, so the $2 to $3 a day over a couple of days.
And it just got you a few more eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah, plenty more eyes. Yeah.
It worked really well.
Man.
When we started initiating the DMs, a lot of people we'd say thanks for the follow, and sort of start that conversation and stuff. And pretty much most people would just say like, we love your content. So it just sort of, we doubled down on what was working and what didn't. So kind of like you mentioned, just doing sort of, you could do lots of different ways of how, like with reels or doing carousels and stuff like that. So we found that was really good, and then when you see the ads, you can see how many link clicks you get, and then the dollars spent. So obviously we'll take a look at which ones were performing and which got the best sort of clicks, and then kind of double down on those ones a bit more. And then from there, we just sort of, with the content, we have VAs helping with content, VAs helping with the DMing approach. So it's been, that's sort of how we've kind of built it slowly from there.
Yeah, man. One of the things that I love what you're doing, boys, is your content like there's so many elements to it that make it really, really good. And one, like Anil said, like the relatability factor, but there's a little bit of humor, there's some education, plus there's also just some fucking good results. And so look, everybody knows that, hey, look, you got to post on social media if you're going to be an online coach. But for you guys, how did you start to figure out, like, okay, this is working, we're going to replicate more of that, and now what is your sort of strategy moving forward with that?
Well, honestly, I was just so luckily I had a bit of experience in front of the camera after working with one of my mates, Fish, who owns Southside, a clothing brand. So I was lucky in that sense that I kind of knew already how to talk to the camera and kind of joke around how to make content, kind of attention, like to grab people's attention. So basically, I'd always try to throw in a hook, something a little bit funny, just joke around a bit because just keep it lighthearted. Because at the end of the day,
where did you get the karaoke mic from?
Oh, I got it off Amazon a couple of years ago. I actually used it at a New Year's party I was with Jay to do interviews. It was hilarious. It was a good time. Just like Amazon, like $15. You should grab one.
Yeah.
As well.
It was a good opener.
Yeah. It's a good opener. So just stuff like that, just any ideas you bounce off our mates, or a lot of our mates will be like, hey, you should do this for one of your videos. I think it'll hit. Just being open to everything, keeping it lighthearted, but making sure that that message that is there is sent across in terms of like training or nutrition. And it's working, and it's reliable.
Yeah, for sure. One of the big things too, boys, is you recently put out a TikTok video as well. And so in terms of like your hooks and grabbing that attention right from the start, like your TikTok video blew up to like 1 million views. So what do you think was so successful about that TikTok video? And what do you think you're going to replicate now to replicate that video?
Well, as you said before, the TikTok video, it was kind of like a stupid little joke video, but at the end of the day, that's what everyone wants to see now, short, because they don't have quite a long attention span. That's what TikTok's blowing up. So thing is, like you said, just grab the viewer's attention straight away. Like the video was a bag over my girlfriend's head, and then I put the bag over my head and I pretend like she did it, some stupid thing like that. But basically, I think the most important thing is to spark like people commenting. And whether it's negative or positive, as long as the eyes on the video and comments are left, people are going to get drawn to it. And then from there, the eyes are going to be led into our coaching page. And that is a dub. So negative or positive, whatever the comments may be, at the end of the day, haters going to hate. But if they love it, they love it. And when they come to the Alphalits page, they love that. There's not a lot of hate at all on the Alphalits page. So, the business is business. So
that's it. Absolutely. So recently you sort of switched gears, and Jay, we're sort of talking is like, you've been predominantly coaching men, but then you decided to switch gears and open up to coach women. Can you tell us sort of about how that came about and what you're sort of doing in that realm?
Yeah, definitely. It was always on the cards, like, it's another side of the market. So for us, Anil and I, we're hungry, we're business owners, like we want to scale, all that sort of stuff. But obviously there's challenges, and you can't apply the same thing as we would for guys as we would for girls. So we were a bit sort of holding off on that a little bit at the start, just sort of, we're still starting out ourselves, want to sort of put our foot in the door with the market. Results have been good and all that sort of stuff. And then I think just, we never really, it was always sort of on the back burner. It wasn't something that we kind of had plans in the first 12 months actually, but then people started reaching out to us saying, hey, like, or even like, because when our mates would share our sort of results or whatever, they would get messages saying, hey, do these guys coach girls? Because you look at our page, there's only guy results and all that sort of stuff. But then, we kind of thought, why don't we sort of open it up to try? And so we, like, our partners both have experience training and stuff like that. Anil's partner as well has sort of a wide range of expertise in I think she's coached previously for a while. And I think he's even coaching his sister right now. So we were able to kind of get that first-hand experience to ask the right questions, because we want to make sure that when we do start talking to to girls and stuff like that, we ask, you know, good questions and stuff that are more relatable that we would not ordinarily talk with the guys. So
Yep.
for me, I just want to have the right information and come off as I guess confident, but also knowing what we're talking about, and rather than just sort of saying things that we don't know. So for me, I'd rather build that sort of trust. So I think a while ago, like I had a friend who reached out, and same with Anil, and then we actually brought on our first female client as a trial, being Anil's sister. And you know, results have been good, things were really positive. So we thought, you know, why not? Like, we don't have to like overly sort of push ourselves on it, but it's really opened the floodgates because more and more women are jumping on board, and it's been awesome. And sometimes a bit easier to train women from our
Yeah, 100%.
Some guys
I can
still
back
have
that up, fellas. I've been in a female gym for 6 years.
Some guys still have an ego, so
Yeah.
it's all fun of it. It makes it just
Absolutely.
just another dimension to everything, and it just makes it a lot more fun, more diverse people that we get to meet that we didn't know before. So it's kind of just been something we've really enjoyed.
That's amazing, boys. And like, one of the cool things there is like, everybody always talks about you need a niche, you need an avatar, you need all of this. And like, you've never mentioned anything about your niche or your avatar. You're just like, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And the right people are showing up, which is very, very cool. And so with the ladies, I know one of the things you're sort of talking about, because you boys, and one thing you just said there was like, we're business owners, you know, like we love training, we love coaching people, but ultimately we're business owners and we want to scale. So now you're at that sticky point where you sort of get to, you know, around that 10K a month, and it's like, okay, cool. You guys really, really value a high level of service. And so one of the things you identified is like, hey, cool, we're going to have to bring on a coach. So what are you sort of guys putting in place now to bring on that coach, and maybe a couple of systems in place?
Yeah, I think we talked when we talked about this in our catch ups, I think a good idea you had was having like even past clients or current clients who are sort of at that advanced level, you know, once they're confident and are doing really well, they're a good place to start in terms of bringing on as a coach. So and we've always had sort of conversations with people we know, who've shown interest, and you know, we've always put their we sort of got like a small list of people we sort of want to reach out to, kind of, you know, go to sort of do the coaching with us down the track once Anil and I are at full capacity. So yeah, it's sort of it's all been natural, even since we started. Like, a lot of our mates who we go to the gym with have shown interest, and so we've kind of just want to kind of obviously pick the right people, but also, I mean, look, we're all mates, and like doing it with your mates is actually the most fun thing that it's been. So it's a business and stuff, but we do take it seriously, obviously. But having people we know and trained with and stuff like that, like it all becomes, you know, more fun than anything. So coaching aspects, like that's sort of how we plan to do it. And particularly with females, like there are going to be girls and women out there too, who would prefer to have an actual female coaching them. So you know, whether that's through people we know or past clients or something like that, that's sort of also on the cards as well, because again, that's sort of another section of the market that we want to hit. And if some girls prefer being trained by another you know, fellow female, then 100% we want to keep that up for them as well.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I reckon you boys do well, and the cool thing, and there's a little key things from this, and that's why I love these calls, like picking up these little things that you're doing, whether you know it or not, about branding. And so you boys are just building this brand, the Alphalits, you know, and it's like all of this little bits and pieces that sort of create almost like a lifestyle brand. And it's like a lot of the stuff, and I think I know we sort of talked about this, you went skydiving in that one time and you sort of transitioned. No, Jay, you're away again on holiday. Keep going on holidays.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah. How are you guys weaving in, you know, part of your lifestyle and what you guys do into what you're doing through your social media?
Well, we try, like you said, we try to show balance, that we're not just about work, and business.
Yeah.
We try to keep it fun, show that there's also another side of life to just gym. Because obviously people want to know that we're just normal people as well, not just robots who just train and coach. So obviously the best thing to do in that case is to just throw in stuff on Instagram, like of us basically having fun, like if it's joking with mates or trying like different pre-workout flavors, stuff like that. People want to know your personality, not just what your business like. Because especially that's the thing with female clients, because they are very typically intimidated of male coaches or like big dudes. But if they were to see that other side of you, and even little things like just making a video so that they know what your voice sounds like, so they feel more comfortable when they talk to you the first time, makes a huge difference. So getting content there, if it's not a story or a post, that you're not just all about the gym and you kind of have a life and hobbies and things that you can talk about and relate to with them apart outside of gym is also massive, because they're more likely to stick around and sign up if you have more to talk about than just business and training.
I love that. Yeah, epic. Jay and I know as well, like, so you boys, like, obviously you're cruising along now. You'll probably hit that magic 10K a month mark, by the end of this month, which is pretty exciting. And where do you see yourselves, let's say 6 months from now? And then maybe what is the ultimate goal for what you guys are doing?
Yeah, it's interesting. So in terms of targets and stuff like that, we had that target of 50 clients by 30 June.
Yep.
So I think we're extremely close. We're probably at about 43, 44 mark roughly.
Yep.
If we were to sort of go all together, and to hit that financial goal as well, we've already hit that pretty early. So
yep.
In sort of 6 months time, like I can imagine, like if this is our growth in 4 months, like another 6 months, like, we'll hopefully have still riding that sort of same level of growth. So in terms of where do we see ourselves, like, yeah, we want to be able to get to that 100 client mark. Like it's just going to keep going. But obviously, I think the easy thing that, I've had other people who've done other coaching, and there's a lot of really big businesses out there that have thousands of clients, and through previous experience and stuff like that. Like I've had mates tell me, like, yeah, I just feel like a number right now. Like I'm not getting that level of service. So yes, it's good to be at that 20K a month mark, 30K a month mark, whatever it is, and have thousands of clients under your belt. But what we don't want to do is sacrifice on that quality. So it's that part about the growing pains that we need to really think about is, all right, cool. So when we scale, we need to bring on coaches and stuff like that, but make sure that service that we have is still, just as good as Anil and I running it. So I think, obviously at the end of the day, like for both of us in the long term, like we want to be able to sort of step more away from the daily action or the daily operations of the business, and obviously have a team, like a small team of coaches. And we can just sort of be more on the, the back end and sort of, growing the business still, but having people kind of obviously, be coaches and stuff like that. But it is easy to kind of, I guess sometimes when you don't want to leave money on the table, it's easy to be selfish and think about, I'm just going to take on more. But then you realize, like, when you're like, we only have so much time, right? So we, like, even right now, me going on holiday, like from next week, how do we want to manage that? And do we bring on another coach and stuff like that? So we want to really make sure that the people that we are training still are receiving that sort of quality service that we're doing. So otherwise we're just going to ruin our brand. And then, all it takes is one negative review to really kind of, especially for small businesses, it's really, and because our business is built on social networks, basically like Instagram. So when things like that if anything bad happens, then, it's really we're going to suffer. So, in that 6 months time, 12 months time, we want to make sure that, we do want to grow, but make sure that service is still the same. So naturally the scaling would be obviously to bring more coaches in and stuff like that, but still keep the integrity of our brand. So hopefully that answers it.
100%.
Yeah.
This is where I see us in 6 months. You guys see that?
I love it.
Lucky all this top today.
Billionaire Boys Club.
That's it.
Yeah, I love that, boys, and like it's almost rare now. It's not so much rare, but you can see it's where it's heading as well. And online coaching has been around for a while now. Especially the last sort of 3 or 4 years, it's blown up. Everybody is generally open to online coaching to some extent, and maybe they've had an experience with online coaching. And you get one of those really, really big programs where you get a program, that's it, you just sort of left to your own devices. And I really truly think what you guys are building is that referral based business. Your results due talking for themselves and, keeping that integrity. And one of the cool things is too, like, you're going to bring your mates along with you, which is pretty sick, and you're going to create this cool brand and you're going to have plenty of cash and do some cool stuff. And realistically, like, this might be only the first step, is this coaching package. And then you got things like, maybe you run retreats, maybe you run this other stuff, and so there's always ways to make money, and the better your product gets and the better you get known, like, it's going to be a pretty incredible journey. Boys, for when you hang this all up, what does the world say about Alphalits?
Good question.
What do you mean? What do you mean by when we hang this all up?
So let's say 20 years
When we
from
retire?
now, you're like,
Okay.
20 years from now, you retire. You've done it. You've done everything you wanted to. You set out to. What does the world say about what you guys did?
They're going to say we've built an army of Alphalits. Everyone's going to be jacked. Everyone's going to be looking good. Everyone's going to, hopefully, everyone in Australia at least will kind of know who Alphalits are or what we do. Eventually, obviously, we would talk to Jay and fantasizing about building our own gym, like our own warehouse type gym, which would be unreal, and get a little Alphalits army going there. But hopefully, when we hang this up, I just want to be happy, and I can die happy knowing that I've done my best and helped a lot of people achieve their goals, look as best as they can. At the end of the day, like, everyone wants to look good. And if you can help them do that and keep it positive the same way, keep them motivated, there's no losing in that. Like, you genuinely feel like you're helping people, which was something I actually found that I wasn't really doing in my old job, which is why I do cherish this job so much more. I'm very passionate about it. It's just, I feel like there's no better feeling than obviously helping someone, which is a massive part of sales. So obviously talking to people is a huge skill, and you learn about them, and it's like they almost become like your close mate and not even a client at that point. And after 12 weeks, and you're already so close to them, like, so many of my clients have fallen off. We still message, they still send me memes, they still ask me for advice, and it's all free. Like, I don't care anymore. It's just, I've known them for this long. They're considered my mate, and I'm just happy to help them out for free. So it's all about networking. So I guess just keep it going, and make sure the legacy is left in good hands. Our kids, me and Jay's kids, the Alphalits going.
Alpha kids.
Alpha kids.
Alpha kids.
Yeah, how good. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, I think Anil hit that beautifully on the head. I think there's no better feeling. Like, I used to work corporate job. I left my job to, I have another business as well that I started full-time working in. And then obviously this came up naturally as we sort of discussed at the start. But I think there's no better feeling than, I think just seeing, also one thing is the transformations just from the photos, but also seeing clients start to feel more confident, and having that. I think I always say this to everyone who starts, like, with me, like, our goal is not for you to be a client for life or anything like that. Like, we just want you to stay with us until you're confident and you have the tools and knowledge to be able to do this yourself. Like, ultimately, we're not just there to, help you train and stuff, but to really give you that confidence so that you can do it on your own. And then you can take those skills to sort of, keep that going for as long as you want to keep training and staying healthy and things like that. So I think just what we really, I think we want to build our brand on is about being really, like, honest guys who are very sort of passionate about what they want to do and generally just want to help. So there's a lot of PTs out there and a lot of online trainers and stuff like that. So we just want to keep sort of building our brand around trust, and sort of we just let our results do the talking sort of thing. So I would love to sort of see how this goes in the next, if we're around in the next 10, 20 years, which 100% will be. So I think that we want to be recognized for that kind of, messaging that Anil mentioned. So and just having thousands of people having transformations and the confidence and being able to kind of share their experiences with their mates and stuff like that, and showing that anyone can do it. Doesn't matter, like, your experience. I think as well, a lot of people get intimidated when they see us and, see us, like, lifting in the gym and stuff like that, especially Anil. But we want to show that, guy or girl, big or small, whatever experience, whether you're brand new or you've had 10 years experience, literally anyone can do it. You just got to be able to apply yourself, and hopefully we're able to kind of, have a small amount of people who, we help get there. And yeah, that's sort of, we want to keep that going.
I love it, boys. No, that's awesome, boys. And yeah, one of the key Mamba values has just become so good, no one can deny it. And you boys are definitely on that path, and it's really inspiring to see. Awesome, boys. We'll wrap it up there. I really appreciate your time today. Absolutely massive, boys. Excited to see how you go over the next 6 months and keep crushing it. Once again, if you want to give these guys a follow, where do we find you guys?
Alphalits coaching, Alphalits_coaching. Our personals, mine is Young, YUNG_tins, TYNDS 97. And Jay's personal, what's your personal, Jay?
JAAY_W. That's our Instagram anyway, so should be able to find that.
Awesome, boys. Thanks for your time, and we will catch you guys later on. Cheers, fellas. See ya.
Thanks, Dylan. Cheers.
Bye.